Alright, welcome to another Solo Leveling Arise video. So, by the time I'm recording this, the calculation for Battlefield of Time Season 2 is not done. But when I upload this, it's probably going to be already over. So, I just want to talk about the experience of the Season 2 Battlefield of Time in general and how I think it's a lot worse than Season 1. So, Season 1 Battlefield of Time was a fun experience because a lot of time wasn't wasted trying to do runs. It was annoying trying to do the resets, but that's just how Battlefield of Time is. But the amount of time wasted in Season 2 compared to Season 1 it's just crazy in my opinion. And Season 0, I can't really judge Season 0 because most of us playing during that time at Season 0, our account wasn't up to where we are now. So let's go over what Season 2 offered and how I think they butchered Battlefield of Time. Battlefield of Time Season 1, in my opinion, was probably one of the best game mode at the time when it was out. And I was excited for Season 2 because they said they were going to bring some changes, but the changes that they brought made the game mode worse. So the first one was Cerberus. Cerberus one was a player one. So if you just look at these times, most times for Battlefield of Time, unless you're crazy in advancement where you have everyone 810, especially the weapons too, those clear times are probably going to be in the 30 seconds mark, maybe a little higher, 30 to 40 seconds. But most people who only have A5, pretty much at A5 or below, each of your runs, your best runs, will be in the minute mark. And the thing that's hard with that is that if your best run is in the minute mark, every other run that you do is gonna be longer than that, which means the reset, every time you run, the reset takes longer and longer. So in Season 1, like, here's an example. I don't know if it was Season 1 or Season 0, but there was a Hunter Baruka fight. The Hunter one for this, I think there was also a player one for this. You can clear it without breaking. So without breaking, you can clear in about maybe around 40 seconds. And that's with just A5 stuff. But now, see if I can have my team here. This is the team that I brought. You could have brought something better than this for sure, but you needed to have A5 ammo for this, and I didn't have A5 ammo. You have to break, and the fact that you have to break just adds so much time. So instead of having a reset point at around maybe 30 seconds, now your reset point is at 45 seconds, 50 seconds. And if your account is not that high, your reset point is over a minute. And that adds up because a normal amount of runs, to get 49 seconds, you could probably easily have attempted this for a couple of hours. And then if you didn't have to break, this attempt would be probably cut down in half, just saving people time. So that's one of my main issue in Battlefield of Time, is just that every run just takes so long and then adds up. Hobgoblin, my best time is 1 minute, and that's because I didn't run Westwind. If you're a Westwind user, you needed 3 straight crits to do this. And to get 3 straight crits, that can take you hours, like 8 hours of just non-stop trying to get those 3 crits, just so you can get your time maybe around 40 seconds. To cut off 30 seconds of your clear time, you had to spend 8 hours to do that, and people just don't have that time. And the reason why that's awful is because in Battlefield of Time, everyone has the exact same stats, and I'm fine with that. Everyone can have the exact same HP, attack, and defense, or whatever. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But my issue with that is that we don't know those numbers. We only know HP. HP is around 10,000. We don't know any other numbers. The problem with that is that what's our crit chance? What's the enemy's crit percent defense? Crit resistance? Because if you look at this is Egress. Cha is the best character in Egress because Egress is weak to light. And if we look at Cha's kit, this is how much Cha is getting. Crit. Critical hit rate 12% with brand. You're gonna have that. Critical increase, another hit rate 16 over here, so that's 28%. This wasn't out yet when it came out, so we're not adding this extra 10%. So that's 28% from her. Let's say you're running toughness. Toughness is another 8%, I think. Let me just double check for toughness. Yeah, toughness is another 8%. So what is that? 36? So you're at 36%. You'll be running Min. Most likely. Min is another 12%. So you're in the 50% now. And then if you ult with Min, which you're gonna probably do, you'll have another increased hit rate of 12. So you're ult plus Egress. You're in 70% crit hit rate with Cha. So you'd think you'd be critting every hit, but that's not how this game works. Because Egress has a crit hit resistance, it takes me hours just to get one crit from her ult. And her ult has a built-in 70% crit hit rate with everything added up. So 70% crit hit rate, and I barely crit. That's why it takes 8 hours to get 3 straight crits with Westwind. Because we don't know our base crit hit percent, and we don't know what Egress crit resistance is. The thing to fix that is that everyone knows that Battlefield of Time is all about crits. So much time is wasted because you do your best runs for phase 1 and phase 2. And then phase 3 you don't crit. So that's a reset. The best thing we can do is that why not just set your crit hit rate to 50%? What's wrong with that? That doesn't hurt you. As a developer, that just makes it easy for everyone. Just save us some time. Because Battlefield of Time right now is a big waste of time. Because the reward is not even that good compared to everything else. So, like, this is the reward. I did a calculation. I think I'm gonna hit number 1, even though I ranked number 4 in the last one. That's why I didn't really try. So this is the reward you get for hitting number 1. 1,000 Essence Stone. What am I gonna do with 1,000 Essence Stones? A multi is 3,000. So I did all of that work to get number 1, just so you can give me 1/3 of a multi. Is it 3,000 actually? It might be 25. I don't remember. But let's see mashup. Is it 250? It's 250. My bad. A little more than 1/3. But is that good enough? That's not good enough. And then if you look at the store, what do we get from the store? 1,000 Traces of Shadow. 100 Traces of Shadow. We get 5 tickets. We get 3 weapon design. These rewards are so bad that why should I bother even trying to go for number 1 in this game mode? Why should I waste 8 hours of my life trying to get the best time for Hobgoblin just so I can get 150 Essence Stones, so I can get 2 runes that are rare, most likely 50 Trace of Shadow, when I can farm this in gates, I can farm this in story, I can farm everything else. The rewards for this is so low compared to the investment that we have to do. It's just not worth it. So with season 3 coming out, we already know an Egress fight is gonna be there. It's probably gonna be the first fight. If they don't change this, it's still the same as before. They wanted us to stop using Westwind, and guess what happened? we're still using Westwind. They wanted us to use more characters. What did I do? It made us so we had to bring a breaker, which extended every run. Everything they've done to Battlefield of Time changed nothing but made it worse. It's the worst game mode right now. And then if you look at this, Battlefield of Time challenge is more rewarding, and that's crazy. And that's insane. And I don't know if I can see this right now because I haven't actually done this. Look at the reward for this: 30,050 for rank number 1, and this is only 1 week long. And then for group ranking, you get 100 plus you get these cubes. And then for beating everything in under 7 minutes, you get mana elixir too. But like the rewards for challenge, for how long that we take to run it, you can finish challenge in 2 minutes a week. You spend 2 minutes of your life, you do challenge. You spend 8 hours, and you get that. You get 150, which you can get from challenge in 2 minutes. It's just not worth it. Plus, them saying that it should be balanced. That's why everyone has balanced stat. That makes it worse for free-to-play player and even players who have A5, because that means A10, which is an extra 15% stats. If you have an A10 weapon, that's a total of 30% more stats. So those people for sure will clear faster, which I don't have a problem with. But people who have lower investment on their advancement on their character, if they make it so we actually see all of our stats. Let's say I go to Battlefield of Time and this is my stats. This will make this more competitive, because that 30% increase becomes not that important. So it makes it more, I want to say it makes A5 and A10 more on the equal ground if you calculate artifact stats. But that might put people who don't have that below for sure. So, but at the same time, it don't really matter, because if you have an A0, you can't compete to an A5. But right now, if you have an A5, you can't compete with an A10. So if they make it so we have our artifact stats, it might make it so that an A5 can compete with an A10. I feel like that might be more fair, especially for a game mode that doesn't reward you much. So yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. Trying to see what else I can think of that I dislike. The game mode is fun when it's not time consuming, especially when you have a lot of options. Like Egress 1, you didn't really have much option because Chow was the only light DPS, sadly. I tried Alicia as main DPS. It works, but it's not as fun. Baruka, however, this just fight mechanic was just awful. He had 2 invisibility. But yeah, to introduce more of these options, they should just make it so we can have our artifact stats. That might make it so that we use more characters, and then give us 50% base crit hit rate and reduce the crit resistance of the enemy. That's just all I'm asking for. Save us some time. We shouldn't be doing 8 hours just to farm 3 crits on one character. That's just not fun, especially when you don't reward as well. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video.